Well, the Queensland Treasurer Cameron Dick has laid out the blueprint for how his government can win the next election. This while rumours swirl over a potential Palaszczuk challenge. Joining me live now is the Queensland Treasurer Cameron Dick. Thanks so much for your time. Do you think Annastacia Palaszczuk would be enjoying her Italian holiday right now?
G'day Laura, great to be with you. Look, being the Premier of Queensland is one of the toughest jobs in Queensland. And of course, every person in this state, including our leaders, are entitled to a break. So I think suggesting that the Premier, who works very hard for this state, shouldn't be having a break. If anyone suggests that, I just think it's silly.
That
so
wasn't
that break.
Yeah,
the
no,
rest
absolutely.
Of the team's getting on.
I just wondered whether that holiday could have a bit of a tarnish on it because of all the discussions that are going on while she is away. To be honest, I've seen the Rudd, Gillard, Rudd, Abbott, Turnbull years up very close. And when you hear someone say we are 100% behind our leader, to me, that spells trouble. Why is this any different?
I just think you just have to look at the history of Queensland. Laura, we have had incredibly stable Labor governments for very long periods of time. Annastacia's been the leader since after the 2012 election, so that's coming up to 13 years. Peter Beattie was Premier and leader for a very long time, and Wayne Goss before him. So we lock in behind our leader because we're focused on the one thing that matters to all of us, Queensland, and improving the jobs and services that our people deserve, and of course stopping the threat of the LNP who want to cut jobs, cut services, cut infrastructure. They won't support progressive coal royalties in our state, a $7 billion hole in our budget that David Crisafulli is very happy to say he's going to fix by cutting jobs and infrastructure. And that's just not the place for Queensland to be. The big growth state of the Commonwealth, we need to fund jobs and infrastructure. That's what I've done in my last budget, the biggest investment in infrastructure in our state's history, $89 billion over 4 years. So we're focused on the job, Laura, and we're going to keep focused.
Sure, your record is one thing, and Annastacia Palaszczuk is going for a fourth term, which is often very difficult. At what point would you change personnel and give someone else a go? I mean, or is she entitled to the job just on past performance? What about her ideas for the future?
Well, as I make clear in my op-ed today, everyone from the Premier down is absolutely relentlessly focused on our plan for Queensland. That's, as I said, better jobs, better services, focused on our nation-leading energy and jobs plan to transform our energy system, more housing for Queenslanders, putting pressure down when it comes to cost of living. We've got the biggest cost of living relief package in the country that I've just announced. In the budget. So that's what we're focused on. And what do we hear from the LNP? All show, no go. David Crisafulli is all style and no substance. He hasn't announced one substantive plan since he became leader 3 years ago. That's not the future for Queensland. So we're going to focus on our job, delivering for Queenslanders, and we're very honoured to be able to do that.
Why do you think the shine, though, has come off Annastacia Palaszczuk? Why are the polls pointing in the wrong direction? Why are some of your colleagues backgrounding? Why are they saying they need a leader with more energy? Is there nothing to all those claims?
You'd have to put those to those individuals. I've been very clear in my position.
Yeah, but I'm putting it to you, Cameron Dick. I mean, do you need a leader with more energy?
I'm not a commentator, Laura. I'm the Treasurer of Queensland delivering for our people.
So do you need Annastacia Palaszczuk to have more energy?
I think she's as energetic as you could have in a leader. She's got plenty of energy and she's demonstrated that time and time again over 8 years of her leadership of this state, taking us through COVID. That was an incredibly tough job, and the whole world was against us. Everyone wanted us to open the borders, let the virus in, and of course we now have the strongest economy in the country, one of the strongest economies with WA, because we kept our safe state from that virus.
Really?
And now,
are you really still justifying those hard borders? I mean, you and WA are the biggest mining
100%.
states. Do you not put it down to that?
No, I put it down to strong, effective Labor economic management, more jobs created in this state than any other state in the Commonwealth, the biggest budget surplus in history, the lowest unemployment in history. That's not by accident, Laura. And
so
our
you
debt,
still think
our
in
debt
retrospect,
at the end of the last
though,
financial
Treasurer,
year was about $70 billion lower. If I could just finish. Our debt in Queensland was $70 billion lower than New South Wales and $110 billion lower than Victoria.
Yeah.
So we are in absolutely the prime position to lead this country forward, and that's because of our strong, world-leading health response to COVID.
Do you still think, in retrospect, it was the right thing to do to leave families separated, children on the other side of the border not being able to access hospitals, loved ones not being able to say farewell? I mean, that was a pretty horrific time.
It was terrible, Laura. It was the worst time of our lives. And I pray to God we never have to go through that again. But when governments are faced with choices, we have to make the choice to support our people. And we protected our people. A world-leading response. We saw the death and the carnage that was happening around the world. We saw it in New York. We saw it in Italy. We saw it in Spain. And we took those steps. No one liked any of it. I didn't like one day of that pandemic. I didn't like one day of border closures. But what we did is we took the tough decisions to protect our people, to protect our economy and to keep our state going. And now that dividend is here. It's here for our people. That's why we've got the biggest cost of living relief package in the country. $550 off the power bill of 2.2 million households. $1,000 off the bills of pensioners and vulnerable people. No other state has done that. And that's the dividend we're giving back to Queenslanders with the biggest hospital building program in the country, the biggest capital works program, $89 billion over 4 years, the biggest building program our state's ever seen. We're giving back to Queenslanders and we're proud to do so.
Oh, you've certainly got energy, Cameron Dick. Why wouldn't you be putting your hand up to lead Queensland after the next election or before?
Because there's no vacancy, Laura. It's an entirely hypothetical question. I'm just so proud to be the Treasurer of Queensland. This is the greatest honour of my life.
But it's not. And look,
so
I know you pride yourself
I'm very happy doing it.
on being upfront. I mean, all these articles in the paper today, the backgrounding, we're not making them up. Annastacia Palaszczuk is not all that popular within Labor in Queensland at the moment. Why wouldn't you be offering them an alternative?
Well, you're right, Laura. You know me. I haven't spoken to a journalist. I don't background. I haven't spoken to anyone about this. I've been upfront with what we need to do to stop David Crisafulli and his cuts agenda. I've been very plain about that today. We've got a great record. We're so proud of that, and we're happy to fight every day between now and the end of October next year, when the election day is, the last Saturday, to fight on for Queensland. And we are all behind the Premier. I've said that publicly. She's got my full support. We are supporting our leader. We've got a great team, but we're not going to give this up easily to the LNP. They've got to fight on their hands. A government with a plan, not only just a plan, but a government that's delivering, and an opposition that is all show and no go, and that's the choice.
One final question, because you've been very generous with your time, and I know you're a busy man, but
Sure.
do you accept that if Annastacia Palaszczuk stays as Premier, you do risk, there's more of a risk of what you just explained you don't want to happen, that David Crisafulli will win the next election for the LNP?
There's no doubt the next election, Laura, will be our toughest battle yet. There's no question. This will be the most difficult election we've faced, but I know all the members of our caucus, pound for pound, person for person, we are the best people to lead this state, and we are in the fight for the future of Queensland, and I'm not going to let David Crisafulli and the LNP take the future of this state backwards. I'm just not.
Okay, if there was a vacancy, would you put your hand up?
It's entirely hypothetical. I love my job.
I love hypotheticals.
You know, we've got a great leader who's delivering. Yeah, well, you know, that's the media's role. But I'm not going to get into that. I love my job. I'm so proud to do it, and I'm going to continue serving Woodridge, my electorate, and the people of Queensland for as long as I have that opportunity as Treasurer.
All right, Cameron Dick, you've been very generous with your time. We thank you for it. We'll speak soon.
Thank you, Laura.